Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. I am, of course, Wanda Wicks, she, her, and we're going to be picking up where we left off, talking to Suna, programmer. First up, let's see how we're doing points-wise. We currently have 6 skill points. You know what? Let's spend a couple of these. Drop one here. And I think we'll drop one here. And we'll drop one here. And our signature skill, interfacing. Let's drop one there. Still got 2 left over. That's fine. How's Cold Mamadakwa coming along? 83%, not bad. Alright, and our outfit. Drama's down. You know what, let's get logic on. Do we have anything for rhetoric? Rhetoric? Maybe? Anyone? I don't believe we have anything whatsoever for rhetoric. Wow. Well, okay. Let's go for it. Hi, Suna.
What is it?
The woman is still hunched over the keyboard, gently illuminated by the purring machine. I didn't break anything, did I?
No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper.
It does not look like a big loss to her. Hey, are you the lead programmer of Wirral Untethered by any chance?
Yes. Or, no. Not anymore. That project is dead.
R.I.P. F's in the chat. Sorry, but who are you? What are you doing here?
I am Soona Luukkanen-Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages.
Which we heard Trant talk about earlier.
If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
She turns back to the terminal.
Did she say over 16 years of experience? She must have started programming when she was still a teenager. That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church.
Let's just go from the top down here. Have you seen the Crab Man?
Nope.
But you know he's around?
Yes.
He's seen you.
And?
Okay, it's probably not a big deal then.
No. You're right. I'm not.
Her voice trails off as she bends over to tinker with the machine's printer. She's focused. I respect that. Why are there so many machines in this place?
I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything.
Why do you need an antenna?
I use the AR-1 as my RAIM prefix processing unit.
RAIM Prefect, that's your radio computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that antenna is its processing unit?
Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you?
She's stopped working now. I know a little.
All right. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna.
Computing in this universe works fundamentally differently from how it does in yours. Apparently, you can process information simply by tapping into ambient radio waves. Must be nice. What's on air?
On the front, the unified front of radio waves, licensed and controlled by Lintel in the East in Cylindic region. It's all around us. That's what on air means.
Like love.
And the AR-1, is it a good antenna?
I guess it is. So far, I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable. But it's not the cheapest one on the market. So I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof line for civilians.
I love how focused she is and how she assumes that we're thinking the same thing she's thinking. We're already on board with whatever it is she's doing. Suna is very one track.
Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieus dedicated to that sort of thing.
What are you doing with your radio computer?
I'm working.
The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core. The light casting her face in a strange shadow.
Working on what?
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point. I really need to focus on something.
Isn't your RAIM Prefect radio computer made exclusively for the government use?
So you do know something about computers. You're right. Prefect is used mostly by the government peeps.
And you work for the government?
No, I don't.
So why do you have it?
Because I needed something good for my investigation, and RAIM Civic is widely agreed to be below all standards. So I had to upgrade.
In much the same way that Cindy the Skull got red-dyed fuel oil from a government vehicle. Government gets all the good stuff, so why not take it?
Besides, owning a RAIM Prefect isn't such a big deal anymore.
No, actually, it is kind of a big deal. You don't see REAM prefects in every police department, for example.
How'd you get your hands on it?
I know a friend of a friend who used to freelance for the Coalition. I was actually aiming for the military-grade RAIM Rational series, but couldn't find one.
Your friend found it fallen off the back of a truck, no doubt.
Prefect is mainly based on the same technology as RAIM Civic, so it's kind of a rip-off. But it does have better compatibility with newer antenna models, so I won't complain.
What about those bowls of water over there?
They are connected to my RAIM Prefect. Whatever you do, just please don't move them, okay? Thanks.
Short and terse. There you have it. Whatever she's using them for, they're hers.
Right, I'll try not to touch anything. Next question.
Great.
What are you doing in an abandoned church?
You really like those questions, don't you?
There's a hint of amusement in her tired eyes. You're occupying a public space. I need to know what you're doing here.
I'm conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out.
She says, ready to stand her ground. What research?
I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal log said. The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Is the hole connected to the data loss in your journal?
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that.
A hole in the world. What does that mean exactly?
Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing.
There's something frantic about her as she locks her gaze with you, eyes shining like pearls. I like that.
What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist?
She's suddenly absorbed in the conversation, waiting for your answer.
Easy. You measure it by the world around it.
You measure it by collecting data on its surroundings, on that which exists.
Exactly. Very true. That's what I've been aiming for. That's why I have those basins. I've tried using hydrotransducers to record the silence, to find out where it begins.
Hydrotransducers. So that's what those water basins are. Devices for recording sound through water.
But honestly, it's not progressing very well.
She grows silent, staring at her circle of basins. It looks like some ancient ritual. Do you have any idea where this hole might be located?
Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
She looks up, eyes trying to pierce the pitch-black heights above, but without much success.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark, most of the tower disappearing into the shade.
It's interesting that for all that she's attempting to find something up there, she evidently didn't think to just buy a spotlight and point it up.
Strange things may flourish in the dark.
Although, that's more of an artistic choice on the part of the game designers than something Suna decided. This hole is meant to seem dark and spooky. Lighting it up would have been the wrong choice, aesthetically speaking. Why there?
There's this place at the back of the church, a place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow, and the higher you go, the less you record.
Suna, that word already has at least 2 definitions. It's a bad choice. You should have called it something else.
The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place.
This is where the Crabman lives.
I know.
You don't think Crabman might be somehow responsible here?
No, I don't.
I really think... Well, I mean, obviously we're the protagonists, so we're going to instigate everything that happens in this game. But if Suna talked with Tiago about the Mother of Silence, it might actually give her some insight. But she's not going to come to that conclusion. Anyway, you said that the research isn't going well. Why not?
Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point in space. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work.
Well, that's all I wanted to know about the scary 2mm hole in the world, for now.
Great. Thanks.
So, how do you feel about anodic dance music?
What? I hate it.
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Have you even listened to it? Like, actually listened?
Yeah. Like all the time. My tent neighbors don't really ease up with their partying, do they?
She pulls a face that looks absolutely scathing.
Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music.
It should be noted, we know from her grocery list, she is on at least one drug. She drinks energy drinks, which are, for whatever reason, not available to us, the player. Right. How do you feel about a club for anodic dance music?
This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here.
Well, what do they want to build then?
Take a guess, why don't you?
So we could say a youth center would be nice. A petting zoo, a place for animals. Maybe some community space to help the elderly? Or, I'm still convinced they want to establish a nightclub for anodic dance music. They said it's their dream. And you know what? This one's true.
I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you? Thanks.
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
Right, I'll let you work in peace now. Okay. So unfortunately, this is a bit of busy work. We're going back and forth between Suna and the Ravers. But that's how it has to be. And yes, it's already quite late. But you know what? We're not going to do this quest line right now. It's not quite midnight yet. Which means it might be a good time to talk to Gart. Oh, but first we gotta get this orb. This store is closed for today. Time to put the kids to sleep. Sensible. Probably should have fast-traveled, but whatever. Would have missed the orb if we'd done that. Oh, what's that? Get back here. A sewer. A gateway to the river of filth. Alright, fair enough. Alright, let's gear up. Because what we want is drama. And to a lesser extent, composure. No, not that. Definitely not that. I think that'll do. Our friend the smoker on the balcony is here. Hi, Gart.
Can I help you?
Now, even though we have our shack where we can stay for free, and we will be staying there, we're going to pay for the room anyway. We've got the cash for it.
Got the 20 real?
Yep, 20 real for the night.
Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
You know, there might be other places to sleep on this coast. You'll find one eventually.
We already did, Rhetoric. Thank you. Gart, I found a new bird for the whirling. Give him the ruffed grouse. You may recall we got this from Little Lily.
What is this thing?
The man takes the stuffed bird. I wanted to apologize for breaking the Great Skua by bringing you this ruffed grouse.
Okay, well, this is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy.
A competent piece of taxidermy indeed.
I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank you.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Gart, I need to sing karaoke now.
No, you don't. It's not happening.
He tries not to look at you. It's dangerous to acknowledge the karaoke man. You need to approach this situation logically. Ask him why he has the PA system installed if you can't use it.
As you wish, Rhetoric. Why do you even have the PA system if no one's going to use it?
It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of 44.
What happened in 44?
A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke.
Yikes. I was going to say, we know that Lely, the hanged man, sang karaoke here before he died, but that seems more notable. It's not a prop, it's for your clients. I know it's used.
Okay, yes, it's for some clients.
I'm a real client. I've paid my bills, and I have the right to use the karaoke machine.
Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
He's lying, but whatever. You don't really need his lame tracks.
It's all right. I have my own song with me. Give him the tape for smallest church in Saint-Sain.
The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape you've just given him. He begins to frown. Hard.
Oh, this is happening, Gart.
Fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair. I'll plug it in for you. Damn this karaoke machine.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself.
Well, you can, but not tonight. Tonight, it's getting used.
Oh yeah, time to do the damage.
Our co-workers have left. Anyway, let's go for it.
The stage is all set up for your performance. feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet.
I think that probably was meant to say pallets.
You feel a little dizzy, a little unsteady suddenly.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
This one is bad. We're not going to do it. Let's look around the room first.
The bar is full and buzzing with chatter. No one is paying you any attention, but still you feel your knees turn to noodles. Okay, now a couple is looking at you. Even worse, they are going to hate you. Just make sure you move, okay? Don't be stiff.
Thanks, Sappy. Yeah, we're doing it. We're getting a bonus because we're going to throw in some dance moves, and we're getting another bonus because of our outfit. We only fail this on a snake eyes. Nevertheless, the chance is there. Roll the dice.
The air is thick with anticipation. Someone dims the lights as the music starts. Okay, here we go.
Here we go indeed.
I would often go there, to the tiny church there, the smallest church in San, though it once was larger. How the realm may rest there, down through the mist there, toward the Seven Sisters, toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there, in that tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
And it actually gives us the lyrics there. Obviously, that was the same voice we have for Ancient Reptilian Brain. I will let you know that if we fail the check, the voice that takes over is the voice we hear for Limbic System instead. Our limbic system is not quite as... well, it doesn't have the same gravitas.
A lazy applause fills the room. You feel your hands shake as awareness of your body returns to you.
Thank you, Ancient Reptilian Brain.
There is silence now in the deep where the voice came from. It has receded, to return only in dreams and nightmares. This guy really carried you.
Alright, so our options are, I want to dedicate this song to whoever wrote me that fucking letter. I still love you. Thank you very much, asshole. Or, I'd like to dedicate this song to my partner, Kim Kitsuragi. It should be noted, we can still say this while our actual partner from the 41st is watching. I'd like to dedicate this song to Gart for letting me sing it. It's all shit, Gart. I'd like to dedicate this song to the pale nothing that will devour the world. I'd like to dedicate this song to Contact Mike. Everyone else sucks. Or, I don't want to dedicate this song to anyone. I performed it for myself. we're gonna give Kim his props. Dedicate this song to you, Kim Kitsuragi.
The lieutenant doesn't say anything, but gives you a quick smile before turning away. He's incapable of blushing, but if he weren't, he'd blush.
Good. Are we ready? I want to unplug the microphone now.
Last words?
Alright. Evening will come. We will sow the white sail. Workers of the world unite. Thank you, Martinez. I think we're going to go with this, because again, we're trying to get as many communist points as we can. Darn right. Hey, how is our communist score? 28. Getting closer.
Yes?
Alright. Let's go with this one while we got our logic stuff on. We've been wondering this. Why did the 41st send us?
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57.
That can't be right.
Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late wearing piss-stained disco garb. You weren't sent here to win.
Kim, what if my precinct sent me on this case because I'm a fuck-up? Like, as a joke.
I've considered it.
His voice is somber. So it's true?
It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional. But I also think it's somewhat unlikely.
Why's that?
I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time we can't decide who gets Martinez? I think, yes, both stations would prefer a win.
So you are their finest.
I am the finest of nothing.
Do you really see me as a safe bet?
Safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only just started working together, so I don't know what it is yet. But it's there. So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise.
Thank you, Kim. And you know what? Before bed, let's do one more thing here. Where is it? There it is. Suzerainty, a civilization-building board game where you get to choose a nation and set off to colonize and exploit other cultures. The star-shaped note on the box proclaims the game now includes a completely new genocide option.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
Shake the box.
The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth. What treasures wait in store for you? Even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions.
Remove the plastic wrap.
The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance.
And let's open the box.
There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard.
Read the rulebook.
Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
And of course, we've got our political options here. Economic strategy, more like rapacious plunder and exploitation. Finally, a proper game to teach children about the importance of trade in the global economy. Finally, a proper game to teach Revacholian children about their glorious history. This history seems problematic, but it is important to teach children basic economic concepts. Or keep reading. Obviously, communist answer.
The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling.
Obviously, that would be cocaine.
You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only one way to find out.
It would be hard, indeed almost impossible, to make a game, which is to say, to write the rules about how the world works, about colonizing the planet, that does not in some way come across as political. You know, if you've got your eyes open for that sort of thing. Let's keep reading.
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
How do you accumulate victory points?
That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners.
Always read the advice.
Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly.
How is the winner determined?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now.
Let's examine the components.
You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play.
Let's punch out the cardboard pieces one by one.
Each cardboard token makes a satisfying tsk as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Let's check out the wooden tokens.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, grey marble block tokens. From the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supramuindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
The lieutenant picks up a sugar token and admires it. Put the
You
components
hold
away.
the open game box before you.
Hey Kim, wanna play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Oh, dang it. Suggestion. Well, let's at least swap into our suggestion garb. See if we can get anything on here that'll help us with that. First off, let's write it down. Do we have anything that'll help our suggestion? I think we have a thought that's bringing it down. Yeah, what is that? Humpty Dumpty Dom Center. Oh, we don't want to get rid of this one. Anything else we can do here? No. Okay, we've got it to 0. It is not likely that we're going to get to play the board game, but
The suzerainty
Gonna
box
give
is
it a
heavy
shot.
and slightly awkward in your hands. You give it a light. What? Does the
Nope.
lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police?
Who died and made you the fun police?
The lieutenant gives you a sour look. He may or may not hate fun, but either way, he does not appreciate your attitude.
That's fair. I'm trying to get him to play a 6-hour board game with me at midnight. Well, we can try again.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game?
Yes!
You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
For the record, this is incredibly improbable. It is exactly what I wanted, and no, I have not hacked this game on the back end. I'm playing it straight. Come on, it might help us think of more creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
That's the spirit, Kim.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
And the right outfit.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
I read the rules already, I'll show you.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachon. Radiating outward are her colorful vessels, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza.
It might be tempting to try and assign these 4 things to our 4 stats. Obviously, this game is all about thinking in 4s. I mean, even the icon. Oh, you can't see it. Even the icon that denotes a real is a 4-leaf clover. But no, I don't think these actually have any connection to the 4 ideologies of the 4 stats. It's just what the game is based around.
There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress, in case you need to put the game away and return to it later.
A handy innovation.
The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Seminine Islands.
So we can tell he's going for apricots and sugar.
Alright, detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
So we could try to fulfill a contract, let your workers rest for a while, or just do whatever Kim did. We're going to let the workers rest. Again, we're going for communism.
What? It's the very beginning of the game. Your workers haven't even done any work yet.
I'll let them rest anyway.
There's no concept of rest in suzerainty. Workers have to work. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar and 1 of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card. He is rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Why don't I get one of those?
Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
I'm not even sure what points are. That's part of the problem.
Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors.
If points are really arbitrary, as the lieutenant says, what's to stop you from playing the game the way you want?
Who came up with such a concept?
Game designers, I imagine?
Am I getting points right now?
There are some paranoid types who believe the moral intern keeps detailed score sheets for everyone in the Real Belt. But that's obviously nonsense.
Yes. What obvious nonsense. There's no such thing as points in the real world on a credit score or anything like that.
Otherwise, no. There are no points, just your actions and the consequences of those actions.
We can say that's reassuring or that's terrifying. I think that's reassuring.
That's just the way it is.
The lieutenant doesn't seem to find much value in dwelling on the subject.
Now, I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain.
That's rhetoric, which you'll recall is the skill that ushered us into being a communist in the first place.
Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
We're going to invest in our existing workers.
To the lieutenant's puzzlement, you spend several turns building various improvements to your territorial infrastructure. Soon, your workers have access to clean water, paved roads, and basic hobbies. In return, they produce one extra resource per turn.
Gaze on your workers like a benevolent parent.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
What do you mean?
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back.
The lieutenant turns to one of those appendices you skipped over earlier.
You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
So our options are, so you're saying the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth? So you're saying I should treat my workers like disposable labor instead? So you're saying I fucked up? Communist answer?
Yes, precisely.
Nonsense. Remember what the lieutenant said. If points are arbitrary, who cares about winning? You should reject their system and just play how you want.
If only it were so simple.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Saramaritsa, where they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points.
Disco.
You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century.
Tell me more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
We can say that's fucked up. That's brilliant. Or what does that have to do with the game?
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn.
Can you even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
So we could say, rock and roll, baby. Go for the contract. Get the amplified music. Give back to the workers. This is the strategy we've been doing. Sorry, Kim, you're not going to like this. Introduce the lieutenant's workers to cocaine. Attack the lieutenant and steal all his resources. Or, I'm bored with this. Let's do something else. Well, as reaction speed pointed out to us in the sidebar, pick a strategy and stick to it. Give back to the workers.
Instead of focusing on amassing points, you embark on a quixotic project to win the hearts of your worker tokens. After several turns, you've unlocked advanced hobbies and health insurance. Your workers now produce an extra 2 resources per turn.
You do realize the game is called Suzerainty and not Workers' Paradise, right?
So we can say, I'm just trying to do right by the people who actually generate the suzerain's wealth. Or, I'm rejecting the arbitrary so-called point system developed by this game's politically compromised game designers. We're not gonna admit to Kim that we're actually throwing the game.
I don't think the suzerain cares much about the welfare of its workers. Here, watch this.
The lieutenant continues his strategy of aggressively producing apricots for export. He fulfills contract after contract, racking up ever more victory points. The end game is upon you. What will be your crowning achievement as the suzerain's territorial administrator? You could continue your efforts to win the hearts of your worker tokens by building the rarely attempted public education system for your territories. Alternatively, you could actually try to win the game by building the extremely valuable victory column in Revachol, or by crushing the lieutenant in a devastating trade war. The choice is yours.
So we could say, for almighty Revachol, go for the victory column. It's on, Kim. Launch a trade war. Build a public education system for your workers. Or, I'm bored with this, let's finish the game later. Obviously, we're going for this one.
Your commitment to doing right by your workers pays off, and you manage to construct the rarely attempted public education system. You truly have the best educated worker tokens in the entire world. Unfortunately, you were sent to the territories to produce raw resources, not overly educated second-class citizens. If anything, this might negatively impact your final score.
See? I warned you investing in your workers wasn't going to pay off.
We could say, you taught me that points are arbitrary. I decided to play the game how I wanted instead. My worker tokens have a right to an education, Kim. Or, can I go back and do my turnover? No. My worker tokens have a right to an education, Kim.
Noble as that sentiment may be, it's not exactly a winning strategy in a game that revolves around resource extraction and exploitation. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. 2 points. Though you're beloved by your well-educated worker tokens, the suzerain is immensely displeased and recalls you from your post.
You may recall that when we first asked Rhetoric what communism is about, it said failure. So it goes,
I've got 20 points.
he says with measured pride.
Hey, at least you went out playing the game how you wanted. There's something to be said for that. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.
Alright. And bingo! We finally got our communist stat up to 30, which is where I wanted it to be by the end of the third night. And now we think about the Col de Mama Dakwa.
Col de Mama Dakwa. It's not only your eardrums that register sound anymore. Your very skin has become an organ of hearing. Looking for a whisper light and low. A god who's very, very silent. Nothing escapes you. A cockroach in the other room. A candy wrapper falling on dry grass. A drunk falling from a chair in a bar 20 meters away. In fact, you haven't heard the Col de Mama Dakwa, but you have discovered that you have amazing hearing. It must be the only part of you the alcohol hasn't drowned out. Keep listening.
This gives us a +3 to our perception. Not terrible. Alright, let's talk to the smoker on the balcony real quick, who is not currently on the balcony, but he is smoking.
Hi, gendarme. Another rendezvous.
There he is again. The smoker in the balcony, right here in the whirling in rags. Hi,
Hi. So what brings you here?
what are you doing here?
Admiring the atmosphere. What about you, officer?
I live here. My room is right upstairs.
Convenient. But what are you doing here? Talking to me?
Met your Sunday friend.
You did? And how did you like him?
I did like him as much as I like you.
Ah, shoot. Why not?
What are you two?
Friends, I told you. Sunday friends. Friends who like to get together from time to time.
What does it mean, a Sunday friend?
That he won't be there when times get tough, I guess.
Is that even a friend?
It is. On Sundays.
Who is he?
A visitor from the first world. He's not like you and me, gendarme. He can always return.
Return where?
To his opportunities in Occident, sur la clé. Still, his coming and going brings some life to the village. Or is it just money? I don't know.
Why was he staying at your place in the middle of the night?
He has keys. And he likes the view. To the sea, I mean.
I don't want to talk about other people. I want to talk about you.
What about me, gendarme?
Well, let's give it a shot.
It's the sports. He's a sports guy, all about that physical prowess and athletic skill. Nothing else here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, composure.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
Alright. Now we've still got that corpse in the bear fridge, believe it or not. Oh, right. Since this is the end of the day and we're going to be losing the lieutenant regardless.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. It's guarding over the freezing corpse hidden inside its belly.
Let's bag him, Kim. Take him away.
All right.
He takes out a shiny black body bag and starts pulling the plastic over the dead man's face.
I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
Bag the corpse, drag it to the motor carriage. And there he goes. Put that away. And now, we take a bath. Which is the reason that I still paid for the room, even though we don't actually need it. Since we had the thought about taking a bath, now, after
This
3
is
days...
not the cleanest bathtub in the world, but it's cleaner than you are right now. Ah, that soap scum smell. It smells like life, at least compared to you.
So we can say, I want to live forever with a corpse smell, memento mori and stuff. But no, let's run a bath.
The bathtub slowly fills with water. The water beckons.
Undress, close your eyes, and submerge.
The water is only lukewarm, but still comforting, like amniotic fluid. A few beer cans are bobbing up and down along your flanks, like sad duckies. You feel nice and lonely, and so tired.
I'm going to take the beer cans out.
Now you are alone with your thoughts in the tub. But it's easier than being alone with your thoughts outside the tub.
Linger in the tub a little.
Your fingers grow pale and are covered with tiny whirls as the water cools.
Imagine something.
You see the corpse. You can still smell the cadaver on you. It's going to take more than one bath to get rid of that stench. Then, Houses along a narrow street. A video rental. Darkness on the planet's curvature.
We're imagining home. Probably the last place we took a bath. In it.
The waterline recedes as you stand. You are cold now. Your clothes stick to your still moist skin.
Let's try this. It's worth a shot.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Use your chain cutters to fix the faucet. Stop steam from fogging up the mirror.
The faucet is quite terribly mangled, but you just might be able to twist its parts into place. You handle the chain cutters deftly, applying just enough pressure. The faucet regains a recognizable shape. The steam stops.
Our self is no longer occluded.
Told you that you needed those chain cutters. Everything is connected. Everything has a purpose.
Thank you, interfacing.
The mirror begins to clear slowly without you having to wipe it.
I still think we're a good-looking guy. I mean, check that out. It's distinctive. I would want to spend time with you, Harrier Dubois. Let's go. We're not going to stop smiling, even if it is a coping mechanism. We're not sleeping here tonight. Paid $20 to take a bath. Is it worth popping a point in a composure and then trying this again? Let's see. We've got 4 skill points. Yeah, you know what? Composure's a good skill. Let's try it. Do we have anything composure-wise? There we go.
Hi again, Gendarme.
Could he be a member of the homosexual underground?
Oh my gosh. Could he be?
Just pointing it out. We're not talking about some kind of cult with members here. You made it up.
I think the cult members might have members. Are you part of the homosexual underground?
The homosexual underground?
The smoker sits up immediately, his eyes wide with amused surprise. A honeyed smile lingers on his lips.
He's assuming a role to mock you, or to entertain himself with your ignorance. Don't fall for it.
Why, yes, I am, officer. Why? Do you want to investigate?
Yes, I want to hear more about this homosexual underground you're part of.
Oh, it's a pleasure group. A sub rosa pleasure group congregating in cellars under the cover of night. Saturday night. Sometimes even Friday night.
The gay agenda. What about Thursday night?
Or Thursday night. Sometimes the congregating doesn't even end. It carries on into our daily life.
He lowers his voice conspiratorially and looks around. Why do you convene? What do you do?
Oh, we're ambitious. We want to destroy the last vestiges of meaning, the last things people in Rebishul have to hold on to, the true symbols of security. The meaning of man and woman, mother and father, their marriage. Everything will be constantly shifting and moving under our rule. The future will belong to a circus of identities just spinning around, surreal and unreal. You won't even know who you are anymore.
Does it have anything to do with disco?
Yes, we listen to a lot of disco. Some say we engineered disco to spread our vision of a vertiginous, ever-changing society, where all there is a razzle-dazzle of gold. We are going to change the family unit with all this razzmatazz and finger dancing. And with mysteries. Of course, the mysteries are also of sexual nature. Very esoteric.
I do like disco. Maybe I should get into it.
You can't just get into it. You have to be born into it. One is either already in the homosexual movement or forever excluded from it.
What if I can't remember whether I'm in or not? What if I can't remember anything about my life, aside from the fact that I like disco?
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for. Who knows, maybe you were homosexual in the past. Maybe all of that has been repressed.
He circles his hands around you.
I have to say that you do look like someone who might be part of the underground. You have that very distinctive, I can't understand what's going on here look.
So we could say, this is going to be like a 20-hour mind project for me. 20 hours at least. Okay. Okay, I have to think about it.
Do think about it, officer.
He starts laughing, leans back against the counter. This is going to be a 20-hour mind project for me. 20 hours at least.
Absolutely wonderful.
A man like you can figure out his sexuality in a working day. It won't be 20 hours unless you want to enter the heightened realms of the phantasme erotique afterwards. It may be 20 hours or more, but that would be on your own time.
Bye-bye, gendarme.
All right. Let's unlock that. And let us have ourselves a think about the homosexual underground. You see mysterious strangers in the night, leaning against unlit doorways, engaged in hushed conversation, a shadowy cabal exchanging looks, whispering in dark alleys and unmarked locales, a radical cell conspiring against the state, and perhaps even against man and woman. Was that a secret handshake? What's going on? Who are these secretive people? How will they accomplish their sinister and world-altering goals? And most importantly, are you one of them? You could be. Maybe you forgot. Oh. See, maybe now, yeah, we'll fast travel. I got a few more things
It's
to
getting
do
cold
before we
this late in the night. Time to call it a day.
enter the shack. Okay. Already read that. Already read that. Already read that. This one we haven't read yet. A primer for small kids. A textbook for the first grade in primary school. On the cover, a humanoid teddy bear is pushing a wheelbarrow full of letters. He's not doing a very good job. The letter S is dangerously dangling from the cart, while E fell off a long time ago. Children should pay more attention.
You hold in your hand the colorful primer. The title reads, A Primer for Small Kids. There's a bear involved.
Exactly what I need.
This book will show you the score. Get you oriented with those basic concepts you appear to be hazy on. The anthropomorphic bear will give you the lowdown of your life.
On what?
The alphabet.
Let's flip through the pages.
Every page has one word designating one letter of the alphabet with a faded illustration. Most of them are scientific and cultural principles. It goes as follows.
Let's do this.
A is for azimuth. B is for Boreas. C is for cosine. D is for diamite. E is for ellipse. F is for phlogiston. G is for gamete.
Obviously, these are not the letters that you might use. Traditionally, one chooses A for apple. Also, it should be noted, this is possibly one of the first places in the book that conclusively lets us know, yes, we are using the same alphabet. Everything else could have been assumed to be a translation from Surain until now. And of course, because this game is translated into several languages from your world, this alphabet will change as well. But not for us. Uh-huh.
H is for homeboy. I is for econ. J is for Yura. K is for collapse. L is for laudanum. M is for myriad. N is for nadir. O is for aureole. P is for perihelion.
Nod stoically.
Q is for quasar. R is for rhododendron. S is for sinus. T is for tricolor. U is for ultra. V is for vector. W is for Wahrheit. X is for xylophone. Y is for Ustava. Z is for zenith.
Again, the whole purpose of this is to help put you in Harry's shoes. This feels foreign to anyone who would play this game. It's meant to make you feel we don't yet fully belong in this world. What the hell is a Ustava? That's it?
That's it. You know the alphabet now.
In what is called the IL, the international language developed by scientists from Grad in the 20s, sinus means sign, for example. Now, one other thing that's very important, this. This was the envelope given to us by Everard Clare that we're supposed to have Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter sign, and they have not done so. But we need to get it signed to get our gun back.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope, a 12 to 40-month construction period, and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Look at the zoning plan.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite.
Try to find a loophole in the deal.
There is no loophole. The simple truth is the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
This is terrible. Poor people. Can't I do something?
Well, you could trick Everard. Get some random people to sign the document. By the time the union boss finds out, your business here will be already concluded.
Put the documents back in the envelope. We should have the
You
ability
take
to
the
do
legal
that.
documents out of the envelope.
We may need someone else. Are the drunks still here? No, they're not. Well, we'll work on that later. Let's head to bed.
It's getting cold. The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest.
Go to sleep.
Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels soft and sheets warm. It only takes you moments for the world to fall away.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street.
Recorded in you forever on Ferrotape.
As I've pointed out, these tapes, if you read labels backwards from the inside out. Say felled. The implication is, in some way, our mind is the felled tape computer. Spinning, spinning. Tell me, am I dreaming?
No, you're spinning tapes at the discotheque. The great unceasing disco of the mind. The flash, the bang, the endless learning experience.
Spinning in eternity.
On and on it goes, for untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising, rising, above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep, studded with stars.
Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
What is it?
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
The rain, the snow. I don't want to. It's beautiful.
Beautiful. It's stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images.
You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless, meaningless keepsakes.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
And here is where we can make a surprisingly important choice. We can say, that's right, I am an agent of the world. Or, but what if I want to be the agent of nothing? Nothingness is a very real part of this world. The pale, the swallow, the protagonist, and the antagonist. I, for one, want to be an agent of reality.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what, brother man?
For politics.
For the working class. For the money, baby. For the greater good. For Revacon. Always and only Revacon.
Note the pronunciation. The same one that Gary used. These, of course, are the 4 skills that gave us our 4 political thoughts. And you already know which one we're going with. Glad I got to 30 on time.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth.
No, we can't get our ex-wife back. But we can build communism, look out for our economic self-interest, make measured, steady progress, keep going for Revachol, or forget politics. You know what we're doing.
There he goes again. He's a real political animal, our Harry. He still doesn't see that it's the world changing around him.
He's got no idea what he's in for.
Why?
Cause only love can break your heart.
Feel the pillow under your cheek.
Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
Do it for the wind. Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. One conversation at a time.
And now, we begin. What's up, Rhetoric?
Rise and shine, comrade. It's time to get to work.
What's going on?
Despite all the thinking you've been doing, only 0.0001% of communism has been built. It's too great a task to undertake alone. You're going to have to get organized.
Have you seen my shit recently? I've really gotten it together.
It's good that your personal business is in order, but we're talking about political matters of world historical import here. You must seek out your revolutionary brothers and sisters. Find out how much communism they've built. Then, together, maybe you'll be able to build as much as 0.0002% of communism. But it won't be easy. Decades of persecution by coalition authorities have driven the remaining communists of Martinaise underground. They live underground. These communists aren't men. They're mole people.
But I'm part of the coalition authorities. Have I been persecuting communists this whole time?
Possibly. If you have been, it's only because you're a double agent acting in furtherance of your long-term objectives. Listen to this. Do you really think you're the kind of person an underground communist cell would entrust with a mission that requires such discretion?
Probably not.
Regardless, what's past is past. You need to look forward to the work of building communism for all.
I don't know if I want to go searching for mole people.
They're not mole people. They're your comrades in the eternal class struggle. It's your task to find and join them.
Will they help me fire up Mazov's socialist sausage grinder?
Just between us, you may want to lay off this grind up the bourgeoisie stuff. It's a bit off-putting, even to fellow communists.
Right. We'll just make the occasional joke about guillotines, rather than more practical methods of instituting violence against the upper classes. So, how am I supposed to find them if they're hiding?
Let your nose guide you, detective.
My nose?
Yes. Fortunately, communists are known to have a very distinct smell. We really have no idea what they're talking about. There's no linkage between ideology and olfaction.
So what does communism smell like?
Failure.
There's so much failure in my life already. I don't know if I can take any more.
That's why you're perfect for the job. No one's got a better nose for failure than you, Harry. What you're smelling is your own body odor, of course. Nothing a shower and change of clothes couldn't fix. People sometimes complain there are no real communists left in Martinaise. But you can smell their presence. They're out there, waiting for you to join them. Incidentally, during the waning days of the anti-centennial revolution, a number of Revacholian communards constructed elaborate hideouts in abandoned root cellars, hollowed out tree trunks, and even residential sewage tanks. This latter phenomenon gave rise to the early anti-communist slogan, "The future's bright when you flush out the white."
Okay, I'm ready. Let's get organized.
First, you'll have to locate the remaining communists in Martinaise. When you get near to someone with revolutionary potential, your nose will give you the signal to establish contact. Again, no, it won't. Any olfactory response you perceive will be strictly psychosomatic. Judging from the bust of Krasmazov and other revolutionary paraphernalia you discovered, it seems that the Cape Side apartments may be a hotbed of communist activity.
Hang on, what will I do once I establish contact with my fellow communists?
You'll discuss the monumental world historical task that lies before you. You'll engage in rigorous and spirited debates about Mazovian theory and practice. But mostly, you'll probably complain about other communists.
Isn't that last part kind of counterproductive?
Not at all. Complaining about other communists is one of the most important parts of being a communist.
All right, let's get to it.
Here we go. Wake, brave worker. 'Tis no time for bed. Fight till there's no slaves below, and no masters o'erhead.
Okay. Morning, Kim.
Yes?
Hey, don't worry about this, but hold still a second.
The lieutenant's posture becomes rigid and uncomfortable as you lean forward and sniff the area just above his shoulder blade. The lieutenant is fastidious as a cat in matters of his personal upkeep, and yet, in the folds of his jacket, you can just perceive the stale and acrid traces of oil rags, transmission fluid, and brake pads. Wait. There's something else there. Something that sets your GABA receptors aflutter. The lieutenant's aftershave, a common drugstore brand. Strong hints of pine needle. But what sort of ideological picture do these smells paint? Tough to say.
Do you need something, detective?
I was just wondering what brand of aftershave you use.
It's nothing fancy, just plain old Tiger Super Special. Are you thinking of, you know?
He gestures towards his cheeks with an invisible razor. Lose these bad boys? No way.
I didn't mean to offend. It's your business, of course. Was there something else you wish to discuss?
No, that's it. By the way, we do have the option to shave. I'm not doing it because we managed to wind up looking objectively even worse. Alright.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
I think there might be some dialogue chain I haven't gone down yet. I was asked to get your signature.
Eh? What's this about? Come now, I can't read all the scribble. Tell me what it says.
Test the waters here. Say that there's nothing to be worried about.
It's just a real estate deal. Nothing ominous.
A deal with who? It's the Border Union, isn't it?
Yes, it's the Union.
Thought so. So what do the Clare brothers want this time?
Everett wants to turn part of the village into a little youth center.
Huh. I might be half blind, but it looks like part of the village is gonna be a street. The best part. The part we need to get out of our houses. Have you asked Lillian about this? I won't even consider signing till I know she's on board.
Okay. We might need something from her.
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Simmer down, bastards.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with you and those waves?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living. So I asked them to accommodate me.
It's an old type of religion. The same one you use when you just look up at the sky and say, please. Or alternately, when you stub your toe and yell in anger at an inanimate object. Personifying and anthropomorphizing something that you need to work with you.
But until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can. So, what will it be, officer?
Do we have
Evra and his plan for the village. I guess it does sound nice enough.
Here, use my pen.
He has a pen and everything.
She takes it from you, a doubtful look in her eyes, clicks it, and places the tip on the paper.
Here you go.
Why did you sign it?
I shouldn't have.
I mean, it's Everard, so it's probably a mistake.
Probably, but it is a youth centre and I have children. Got to give them something else to do. They're cute and small now, but they're growing up fast. I had my first drink when I was 11 because I was so bored. Anyhow, you also need Isabel's signature. It's a bad idea. She won't sign. You'll find she's a tougher nut to crack than me.
Sound logic. Division of labor. She leaves the skepticism to the skeptic.
Fair enough. That's my motor carriage in the sea, by the way.
Oh. That's good to know, I guess. Why is it in the sea?
An official investigation has been launched, by me, to determine just that, ma'am.
That's great. Until then, you should maybe start thinking about the funeral.
Sire, she doth not believe it wasn't you.
You are suggesting we honor the carcass of my former motor carriage?
Aye. Feels deserved, don't you think? Falling in the line of duty like that and all?
I don't think they have funerals for motor carriages.
And why so? Our things are part of our life world. They're made with human sweat and they share human history. We should care about them as we care about humans. To some extent, at least.
Life world. Someone's been reading up on last century Gotwaldian philosophers. Play it cool now.
Alright, I'm in. But organizing a funeral takes a lot of time and effort, doesn't it?
Oh yeah? You won't even be able to get it out of the water before early June. And where are you going to bury it? Who to invite? What music to play at the wake? Take it from someone who's been through a few funerals. It's easiest to just leave them there and let nature take care of it.
That's all we have time for right now anyway. Come back here in June and see how you feel about it then. It's not like it's going anywhere.
It's a pity we don't get to do more frivolous side activities, like rejuvenate the doomed commercial area, or...
Yes, that is a pity. But for now, let's focus on the things we do get to do. Like the murder investigation, for example.
Be seeing you. Okay. So I think we've gotten what we need from Isabel. I do want to get this white envelope dealt with. Oh, the drugs aren't here. Interesting. Well, anyway, let's leave that be for now. We'll resume our other quest to get the ravers to start a nightclub in the church. And right now, we need to talk to the ravers to make that happen. Gentlemen. Coupre Lange, engine starting fluid. Oh, because our perception boosted up, we can smell that now.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
He looks excited. The tips of his hair are sharp and white. The bleach has consumed almost all of the toothbrush on the mirror in front of him. About the church, I checked it out.
And? What happened?
I talked to the crab man.
Oh, man! Who is he? What did you think?
He gave me this odd lecture on alcoholism before rambling on and on about mother's love.
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
Just preaching and praying from the looks of it.
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem? Yeah. Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him?
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
Actually, he told me he wouldn't mind the nightclub at
I don't know,
all.
man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice friendly hyper time?
Don't worry, I don't think he really gives a damn about you or anyone else.
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light! Yeah!
Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her?
I was using the mainframe when Suna, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident, appeared.
A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub?
She did not like the Anodic Dance Club idea.
What a pity. That's my favourite thing in the world. And she doesn't like it at all.
A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam? And into a laser-lit future of dance and unity?
Unity! Dance!
She made it very clear that she won't leave until her own project is finished.
And you can't just evict her?
No, I won't evict her. We have to come up with a different solution.
Look at you, Honor Man.
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. We can make a deal not to bother her. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church and spread the joy and ecstasy of music.
The lines in the dark exist. Coexist.
They sure do.
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being. He's odd. He'll understand.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like Anodic dance music?
She absolutely does not. Really, truly despises it.
Egghead cannot believe what she just said. It makes him pump the jam a little slower for a moment, but then he returns to the full swing of it.
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think?
I refuse to throw her out, but I can try convincing her.
Excellent! Good luck, my friend.
He smiles wide, like a replica of his friend with the large head.
Goodbye, officer.
Alright, back and forth. Oh, our perception's high enough to get something new here. Yellow moss on these stones. They're probably stolen from someone's garden. Suna, of course, has been programming all night. As one does. Hi, Suna. Don't suppose you're a communist?
Yes, what is it?
What if you didn't have to leave? I talked to Andre. He wants to make it work.
I don't want to make anything work.
Hold on, you don't want to make anything work?
Yes, anything. I don't want to make anything work.
Alright, got your message.
Good.
It's worth a shot. Let's see if we can get our suggestion gear on. Well, that's it. And like I said, we're not forgetting the Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center.
Yes, what is it?
Oh, come on.
Hey, what makes the world go round?
Listen, how about we offer you part of the profit?
Nope. Not interested in your degenerate money schemes.
Hey, maybe if you were to find out more about her previous company, Fortress Accident, you'd have something new to say.
What if I just force you to leave? I'm a police officer, you'd have to do what I say.
Interesting. A police officer trying to evict a citizen from a public space, despite the Wayfarer Act.
What's the Wayfarer Act?
The Wayfarer Act states that citizens have the right to gather in public spaces unless they're disrupting the public order.
The Wayfarer Act evidently says a lot of things, and this is one of them.
And she's not. Disrupting any order, I mean.
I'm a circuit bender, and no one ever has anything against circuit benders.
Still can't get in there. Gotta make this suggestion check. And again, I really don't want to turn off this thought. Time to do drugs. Gives us a +2. Oh, come on. Sometimes the drug taking mechanic, it doesn't work properly. Might have to leave the church to do drugs. Nope, no good. No. Come on. Oh.
Well, hello. Someone seems to have found himself a bottle of alcohol. Here's where the magic happens.
Look at the bottle.
What a solid can of mass-produced piss water. Well over 10% alcohol in this so-called beer. Pop it open before it gets too warm. Wow, the gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy to open. A child could have done it.
Open the bottle.
There's a satisfying pop as the cap comes off, and the hair on your back rises like an army at attention. You've been here before. Welcome back, detective. You're home now.
Okay, great, but this isn't the drug I wanted. I'm not doing it.
Fine. We're not worried. You'll crawl back to this bottle soon enough. We'll give you another chance. Booze always gives you another chance.
See, this is what it should look like. Alright. And we want that. Come on. We do have 6 uses of it. There it is. Okay, I realize you might not be able to see it. There, the little purple guy. Hit the thing. This is unfortunately poorly programmed. I gotta sneak up on it. Oh. Up. We had it for a second. In the console version, you can just press a button. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. We're gonna try this until we get it. What else are drugs even for? Now that we are currently on drugs, we've got 3 shots at this.
Yes, what is it?
Much better.
Easy. When her research is done, she can move out.
Finally. Listen, about your research. You mentioned earlier that it's not going very well. Maybe I can help with something?
What? No, I don't really need any help with the project.
But if I could help you finish the project, then you wouldn't have to live in a church next to the Boom Boom anymore. Just think about it.
She thinks about it. A glassy look in her eyes. A gust of wind brings more snow in from the broken gallery. It touches her hair.
All right. Bring me the game's offsite copy from my old workspace, if you really want to help. It's stored on a filament memory, and I'm unable to go and fetch it myself.
Is this the filament you're looking for?
No. That's the production schedule you stole and accessed without authorization. I don't need it.
In his defense, it was simply lying in the desk drawer of an abandoned cubicle.
Okay, but still.
What is an off-site copy and why do you need it?
It's a backup of my former employer's project, the radio game we were working on. It's stored on a filament memory, just like the one inside this radio computer.
She points to the glowing cube inside the machine.
She's making it extra simple for you.
The backup itself is destroyed now, but I'm hoping to use what's left of it to pinpoint the exact location of the anomaly. You just have to go to my old workspace and get the filament.
Hold on. If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on-site?
If it's called an off-site copy, then why is it still on-site?
Oh god, not this again. It is not on-site. It is in the basement. Perfectly safe and not connected to the front at all.
Basement? Sounds like it's technically still on-site.
Yeah, you really should have better infosec, honestly, Suna.
And no, taking it outside the building wouldn't have protected it from the data loss. There's nothing wrong with keeping the backup in the basement. What happened was a freak accident that has nothing to do with how the backup was stored.
Little defensive?
We clear?
By your old workspace, you mean the studio of Fortress Accident in the doomed commercial area?
Yeah, that's the one. You can get in through the bookshop. You just have to do some explaining to the bookstore lady.
Bookstore lady, you mean Plaisance?
That's her name, I believe.
Actually, I've already been inside the doomed commercial area.
Good. Then you might know the giant ice bear fridge in the building's cellar. The filament is inside the fridge. Just go and get it.
The fridge where we put a dead body. Where exactly is the offsite copy?
In the giant ice bear fridge. I just told you. It has red glowing eyes. It's impossible to miss. You just need to get the offsite copy from the ice bear.
But you've been to the fridge and it wasn't there. There was a note saying...
I found a note from the ice bear fridge. It says the offsite copy has been moved to a safer place.
Wait. A note from whom? Did it specify where they took the filament memory?
It said the offsite copy has been taken to a nearby ice cream maker. This note was signed by someone named Sulislav.
Jawiza. Of course. Our project lead, Suliswov Jawiza. God, he was always so hell-bent on keeping the copy somewhere safe. And feature creep, and the Valley of the Heads. Like it would have made a difference. The offsite copy was perfectly safe when the data loss happened. That data loss was anomalous.
She crosses her arms defiantly.
And the heads... I won't even get into the heads. Millions of them. Go find that copy from that ice cream maker, will you? Thanks.
Valley of 1,000 Heads. You like the sound of that.
I found the ice cream maker but couldn't get it open. It's completely frozen.
This is getting ridiculous. Can't you just defrost it? Or, I don't know. I don't know about the ice cream maker. Just figure something out.
By the way, we put a dead body in that fridge.
Wait, what? Whose dead body?
You know, we don't actually have to tell the entire world about the fridge.
The lieutenant says, looking at you.
Whose body is it?
Don't worry, I put it there temporarily. It's all part of an official police investigation.
You put it there? You put a dead body inside the ice bear fridge.
Yeah, that's what I said in the first place.
Okay. Very cool. Thanks for keeping me in the loop.
We would appreciate it if you kept this knowledge to yourself, miss.
Who would I tell? My mother? I don't have anyone to tell. And if I did, I wouldn't. I don't care.
Why can't you go get the filament yourself?
The bookstore lady hates me. Says I'm part of the curse. Whatever that means.
Why does she think you're part of the curse?
Because she's from Martinez, and people from Martinez have never ever seen a radio computer. She thinks it emits elemental evil.
Don't be too harsh. That's only because of their socioeconomic situation.
Yes, but she literally started praying for the higher powers when she first saw my Reim Civic. I'm not making this up.
The lieutenant coughs like he's amused.
Once I came in one morning, only to find that my terminal was full of those strange trinkets and amulets. Wards. It looked like some Semenine magic.
Oh yeah, we know that stuff. I'll go look for the off-site copy.
Thanks.
She thinks for a moment, then reaches behind the radio computer and hands you what looks like an oversized pry bar.
And here's my Kvalsund multitool. You might need it to hack loose some ice. It opens everything. If you get me the off-site copy, then you can keep the Kvalsund.
The legendary Kvalsund multi-tool. This is Prybar version 2.0 for professionals like you.
Right, I'll let you work in peace now. Check this thing out. This is an advanced prybar. A prybar +2, if you will, built by Kvalsund in Vasa. The number of gadgets hidden within the frame of the yellow and gray multi-tool will stagger any technician. It's huge. Alright. Time to go pry open an ice cream maker. And we probably will need to drink some alcohol to do that. As a matter of fact, there are 2 physical instrument checks right next to each other. You know what? Let's gear up now. Physical instruments. Well, I know this one. Unfortunately, these 2 don't stack. Is that seriously all of it? Oh, boy. Yeah, there are other clothing options we can get that will boost our physical instrument. But one we get from Kuno, and I don't think we can get that yet. The other we would need to get from a radio station. Can we fast travel from here? There we go. Alright. Well, we'll give it a shot. But let's try the other physical instrument check first. See how we're doing with that.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Okay, so this one's pretty good because we already have a +1 for kicking the furnace and another +1 because we're helping Suna. Worth a shot.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello? You hear a woman's voice answer.
You've awakened the entity.
This is the police. Who's there?
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the 2nd floor. I'll open it.
You hear a low rumble upstairs. The sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
Okay. Well, we'll put the ice cream quest on pause for now, because we're going to go talk to somebody who I already hinted is up there. You may recall, I called her Birdo. The entity, as Plaisance calls her. We don't need this in here. This tray is full of dice. Colorful polyhedral dice. Hundreds of them. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice.
Hello, I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Milius.
She taps on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Hold on, what do you mean by milieus?
Yes, a Milius is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
She pats the headphones on the table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
You must have me confused with someone else. I haven't knocked on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Sure. I like role-playing games, and I need some dice.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set. Unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
The walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
How did you become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
Do you like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items.
What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling in rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity here. The lieutenant looks at his notebook. Then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
What do you mean by the daily ruckus?
Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard.
She stops to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike.
She's heard of the murder, but did not see it, sire.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
You never took your eyes off your work to look out the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
It's light here, but dark in the yard at night.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
Oh, been there, sister.
This person values focus above all. She keeps her sharp sight on the instruments before her.
Do you often work Sunday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people. But I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
I see. Thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
Where are we, anyway? What is this place? Look around the room.
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal-black soot here and there.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
I'm going to go ahead and recommend against setting up shop in the chimney that's meant to redirect carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide from the furnace that is meant to heat an entire building complex, regardless of whether or not you have to pay rent there. Don't do what Niha does.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
Creative.
The lieutenant looks around the spacious room, its ceiling fading into shadows above.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
I've heard this place is cursed. Did you know that people call it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
Plaisance is the one who sent me. She's convinced that the place is swarming with malicious energies.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?
Now, we don't actually have a relevant answer to give here, but I think it's obvious from Plaisance's dialogue that the silent partner, that is her husband, is propping the place up. Plaisance is rightly concerned about bankruptcy because, more so than us and certainly more so than Niha, she knows her books. She knows she can't keep her own business afloat. And what's more, I think it's pretty obvious that her husband is paying for her to keep that business going, to keep her and her daughter in Martinez. He's off having the time of his life in Grand Couronne. If it were really a matter of money, they could close down the bookshop and, if nothing else, stop paying rent there. No, I think Plaisance's story at bottom is a sad one. But we're gonna be honest for Harry and say, I don't know why the bookstore hasn't gone bankrupt yet. That's what I'm here to investigate.
All right, but it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
The whirling is part of the doomed commercial area?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the east of the Commerce Central project.
Yes, but it's still a separate building. The malicious energies can't reach there.
And then there is me.
She sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there, scattered, from knives to carving files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
So the options are, Plaisance thinks it's because you're the source of it, a malignant entity. It's because you're competent and dedicated to your craft. The curse doesn't affect people like you. The curse will get to you, have no doubt about it. It just doesn't care about earthly time frames. Or, well, I'll be the first to admit there are many inconsistencies in this so-called curse. You know, if nothing else, we should warn her that Plaisance thinks she's a demon or something.
Malignant entity? What does that even mean? Some kind of sorceress? What about you, officer? Do you think I'm the malignant entity?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
Honestly, I'm still not sure. This world is a puzzling place.
Is it now? I've always thought it's a rather mundane and boring place with no supernatural surprises in sight. Well, if you ever find a way to explain all those inconsistencies in the curse, let me know.
She turns back to her work.
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful, as far as we can see.
Okay, I'd like to order a die from you.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
So the options are, do you know the Wirral Untethered setting? I want a die for that. Do you have any cursed dice? Tell me about your most extraordinary die. I'm sorry, I don't actually know what die I want. Just a normal die for me, please. Very regular. I'm looking for something to help with my work. Or actually, I need some time to think about it. We'll tell her that we're looking for something to help with our work.
I think I have just the right one for you.
She opens the top drawer of her work desk and takes something out. 2 polyhedrons, red and blue, are cradled in her palm. I don't get it.
You're a police officer, right? Here, catch. They're a gift from me.
A beautiful woman tossing you a gift. Whatever you do, don't overthink it.
Totally overthinking it.
Mr. Smooth moves. You snatch the dice out of the air with one hand, just like you're in a movie.
Say nothing. Act like you've done this 1,000 times.
What are the odds? The red one is made of bloodstone with a lapis lazuli inlay, and the blue one is the inverse. Think of them as your lucky charm, officer.
There's the odds right there.
She smiled at you. She smiled. You truly are Mr. Smooth Moves.
You definitely need luck in Martinez. Was there anything else?
There will be more, but we're gonna come back to you next week. As always, I'd like to thank you all for joining me. We've, believe it or not, made progress today. And if nothing else, we're a big old commie. But I'll see you next week. This is Wanda Wicks, signing out.